My phone buzzed with an Apple Find My ping, and it showed my husband was still in Boston, even though he swore his meetings ended hours ago. I stayed quiet anyway. Then the hotel key card reader flashed access denied on his floor, and I felt my marriage crack without making a sound. My name is Colette. I am 38, and I work as a pediatric nurse. I have been married to Sterling for 16 years, and we have 2 kids, Archer, who is 12, and Rue, who is 8. The kind of kids who still believe surprises fix everything. Sterling was supposed to be in Boston for a 3-day training. That was the story he sold us: calm voice, packed suit, quick kiss, and that little grin that used to mean I am doing this for us. But by the second night, the texts got shorter, then suddenly there were none. The third morning, my good morning message showed delivered and nothing came back. Not even a thumbs up, not even a lazy heart, just silence. I told myself it was work. I told myself Boston was busy. I told myself I was not that wife who spirals. But that is when Rue asked, at breakfast, why Daddy never calls anymore. Her spoon hovered over her cereal, and her eyes had that soft, worried look that kids wear when they are trying not to upset you. Archer did not say anything, yet he watched me like he was waiting for the grown-up truth to slip. So I did what I always do when I am scared. I made a plan and called it love. I said, what if we surprise Daddy? We could bring him his favorite coffee and take him to that aquarium he promised you, Rue. Rue lit up so fast it hurt. Archer pretended he did not care, but he asked which hotel, like he already knew we were going. Sterling and I shared location, because years ago he insisted it was safer. I opened Find My and saw the blue dot planted downtown, right on the water, not moving. The hotel name popped up when I zoomed in. It felt normal enough until I noticed something else. His dot was not in the conference center district. It was in a luxury hotel I knew we could not afford. Yet his company did not book places like that for trainings. They booked boring chain rooms near the airport. I stared at the screen, my stomach tight, but my face stayed calm. I told the kids to pack backpacks. I told my mom it was a last-minute trip. I told myself the knot in my throat was just excitement. The flight was short, but every minute felt like it had teeth. Rue practiced her hug in the aisle, then sat down again, giggling. Archer kept looking at me, then away, like he was reading a caption under my smile. I texted Sterling one more time just to make the surprise clean. Landed, we are grabbing dinner, call when you can. Still nothing. We reached the hotel after dark. Marble floors, soft lights, people in suits holding tiny rolling bags like they were all running from something. Rue grabbed my hand and squeezed it so hard my fingers went numb. Archer walked ahead, too grown for holding hands, but close enough that I could feel his caution. At the front desk, I said Sterling Whittaker, my husband, room number should be on file. The receptionist smiled, tapped keys, and nodded. Yes, Mr. Whittaker is checked in. Relief washed over me so quickly I almost laughed. See, Colette, he is here, everything is fine. Then she added, would you like extra key cards for your room, or will you be using his? My throat went dry. I said his. He does not know we are here. She hesitated, just a blink too long, then handed me one card and said, here you go. I asked for his room number, and she said it without thinking, then corrected herself like she realized she should not. Floor 14, room 1418. I should have walked away right then. I should have taken my kids to our own room and called him from a safe distance. But however scared I was more desperate to prove my fear was wrong. We rode the elevator up, Rue bouncing on the balls of her feet, Archer quiet as glass. The doors opened to a long hallway that smelled like clean detergent and expensive cologne. My heart was beating so loud, I thought the carpet might hear it. I led the kids to the ice machine area and told them, wait here, I want to make this perfect. Rue nodded like it was a mission. Archer did not argue, yet his eyes followed me like a shadow. I walked toward room 1418. Each step felt like stepping onto thin ice. I raised the key card, and my hand shook. I told myself I was shaking because I was excited. The reader flashed red. Access denied. For a second, I just stood there, silent, like the hallway had swallowed my voice. Then I tried again. Red again, red. My skin went cold. I glanced back and saw the kids watching from the end of the hall. Rue waved, smiling, and my chest squeezed so hard it felt like my ribs might crack. I walked back, forced my lips into a smile, and told them we were going to surprise him the fun way, by knocking. Rue giggled. Archer stared at the door like he already knew what was behind it. I walked to the door again, knocked lightly, then harder. Nothing, but from inside I heard it. Laughter. A woman close, not a TV laugh, not a phone speaker laugh. Real laughter right behind the wood. My stomach turned, but I kept my voice calm. I knocked again and said, "Sterling, it is me." The laughter stopped so fast, it was like someone hit mute. I looked down at my phone, opened Find My again, and the dot was still here. Same floor, same place. It did not move. That is when a new notification slid onto my screen from our shared iCloud photo album. Added by Sterling. One photo thumbnail loaded. A wine glass. 2 hands in the frame. One was his. I knew his watch. The other hand had long, pale nails and a thin diamond ring that was not mine. I did not scream. I did not cry. I just stared at the little square image until my eyes burned. Quick real-life pause if you are still listening. Hit like, subscribe, and tell me your city, state, or country. All right, now let me take you back. Earlier that week, Sterling had told me something small that I ignored at the time. He said his hotel changed last minute because of a booking issue. He said, "Do not worry. It happens," and he laughed like it was nothing. I remember nodding while I packed Archer lunch, half listening, trusting him the way you trust a person you have built a life with. Now, standing in that hallway, I realized the booking issue was not a mistake. It was a choice. I turned and saw Archer watching me. His face had gone still, like his childhood was trying to hold itself together with tape. Rue was still smiling, still excited, still pure. I made a decision in one breath. I would not let Rue be the one to open that door, so I crouched beside them, brushed Rue hair behind her ear, and said we needed to do a quick secret mission first, because Daddy might be asleep after work. She whispered, "Okay," and clutched her little backpack like she was in a spy movie. I sent Archer a text even though he was right there, because I could not say it out loud. "Do not let Rue go near the door, no matter what." He looked down at his phone, read it, and his eyes met mine. He nodded once slow, then suddenly the elevator dinged at the end of the hall. A woman stepped out, heels clicking, hair perfect, holding a small paper bag with the hotel logo on it. She walked right past us, straight toward room 1418, like she had done it before. She did not even glance at us, like we were furniture. She pulled out a key card. Not a knock, not a call, just a swipe. The door opened, and from inside, my husband's voice floated out, warm and easy, the voice he used when he was happy. "You are back already," he said. The woman laughed and stepped in, and the door started to close. I moved without thinking. Quiet, fast, controlled. I caught the door with my hand before it clicked shut, and I felt the wood press into my palm like a warning. Sterling turned, saw me, and the color drained out of his face. Sterling turned, saw me, and the color drained out of his face. For a second, he just stared like he could blink me away. The room behind him smelled like hotel soap and something sweet, like perfume that did not belong to me. Soft music played from somewhere inside. A lamp threw warm light across rumpled sheets I could see over his shoulder, and that light felt cruel, like it was showing me every detail on purpose. He recovered fast, too fast. "Colette," he said, voice low, forced, like he was trying to keep the moment small. "What are you doing here?" I kept my hand on the door, calm on the outside, shaking on the inside. I could feel my pulse in my fingertips, like the wood was alive. "Surprise," I said. "I brought the kids." The woman behind him froze mid-step. She was younger than me, maybe late 20s, hair glossy, smile still half on her mouth like she had not yet figured out the story she was standing in. The paper bag in her hand had room service printed on it. She looked at Sterling, then at me, then down the hall, like she was searching for an exit sign. Sterling shifted his body to block the room. That movement, that automatic shielding, was the first thing that truly broke me. Not the picture in the iCloud album, not the laughter. That instinct to hide like I was the problem. "The kids are here," I repeated, and my voice stayed steady even though my throat felt raw. Sterling blinked hard. "Why would you bring them? You should have told me you were coming." I stared at him. He was wearing a dress shirt, untucked, buttons off by one. His hair looked like someone had run fingers through it. He had that faint flush in his cheeks that used to show up when we were young and reckless and happy. He smelled like aftershave and betrayal. "I did call," I said. "You did not answer." He opened his mouth, closed it, then tried again. "I was in meetings all day. My phone was on silent." That lie was smooth, familiar, practiced. I finally looked at the woman. Her nails were pale, same as the hand in the photo. The thin diamond ring on her finger caught the lamp light and flashed like a tiny warning siren. She held the bag closer to her stomach, like it could shield her. I forced myself to smile at her. Not a friendly smile, a precise one. "Hi," I said. "I am his wife." Her face went blank. Then suddenly her eyes widened. and her mouth opened just enough to let out a quiet, "Oh." Sterling snapped, "Colette, stop. This is not what you think." "It is exactly what I think," I said, still calm. "That is the worst part. My brain keeps trying to save you, but my eyes will not let it." Behind me, I heard Rue giggle, the sound floating down the hall like a bubble. My stomach dropped. I turned my head slightly and saw her peeking from behind Archer, her stuffed bunny tucked under her arm. Archer had placed himself between her and the door without being told twice. His face was hard, older than 12 should look. "Daddy," Rue called, excited, like she was about to run. Archer tightened his grip on her shoulder, gentle but firm, and Rue frowned in confusion. "Archer, why are you holding me?" I smiled toward them, and it felt like smiling with broken teeth. "Sweetheart, give mommy 1 minute, okay? Daddy is in the middle of something." Sterling stared past me and saw them. I watched his face change in real time, like two different men fought for control. One was the father, the one who built Lego castles on the living room floor. The other was the man who had just been caught, and that man was furious at the inconvenience. "Colette," he said, harsher now, "do not do this here." "Here," I repeated quietly. "In the hallway, in front of our children. Like I am the one who dragged this outside." The woman flinched at the word children. Her eyes flicked toward Archer and Rue, and I saw it land on her, the reality of who she had been laughing with. "I did not know," she said quickly, voice shaking. "He told me you were separated." Sterling snapped his head toward her. "Stop talking." "Separated," I echoed, and the word tasted like metal. "That is interesting. Because last week he was kissing my forehead while I packed his socks." Sterling stepped closer, lowering his voice like he could manage the damage with volume control. "Colette, please, let me explain. Just come inside for a second." "No," I said immediately. His eyes narrowed. "Why not?" "Because I am not stepping into a room where you have been rewriting my life," I said. "And because my kids do not deserve to watch their mother beg behind a closed door." I turned to the woman again. "What is your name?" She hesitated, looked at Sterling, then back at me. "Waverly," she said softly. "Waverly," I repeated, letting it settle. "How long?" Sterling said, "Colette, enough." But I kept my gaze on Waverly. "How long has he been telling you whatever story he needs?" Her lips trembled. "Since October." October. The word landed in my chest and stayed there. That meant birthdays. That meant Thanksgiving planning. That meant him holding my hand in front of my parents while lying through his teeth. Sterling's jaw clenched. "She is exaggerating." Waverly's eyes flashed, and for a second I saw anger at him, not me. "I am not exaggerating. You said you were done with her. You said you were only staying for the kids until you could move out." My vision tunneled. I kept my breathing slow. In through the nose, out through the mouth. The nurse in me took over, the part trained to stay calm when blood is everywhere. I nodded once. "Thank you." Sterling stared at me, confused, like he expected tears, screaming, collapse. He did not understand quiet. He did not understand what quiet meant when a woman finally stops hopping. I turned my head toward Archer again. "Archer, take Rue to the ice machine area. Get her some water. Tell her Daddy has a surprise for tomorrow." Rue's face brightened again. "A surprise?" Archer did not smile. He just nodded and guided her away, his hand steady on her shoulder. Rue looked back at Sterling and waved. "Daddy, I brought Bunny to show you." Sterling lifted his hand halfway, then dropped it, like he could not decide which version of himself to perform. The hallway felt too bright, too clean, too public. Sterling stepped toward me again. "Colette, talk to me like an adult, not like this." I looked him straight in the face. "Like an adult. Okay." I tapped my phone screen and held it up so he could see the iCloud photo thumbnail again. 2 hands, his watch, her ring. "You added that to our shared album," I said. "Do you know what that means, Sterling? It means you were so comfortable lying that you stopped checking who could see your truth." His eyes flicked to the screen, and I saw something sharp cross his face. Not shame, annoyance. "That was an accident," he said quickly. "It synced automatically." "Of course," I said. "Everything is always an accident when you are caught." Waverly shifted behind him, clutching the paper bag. "I should go," she whispered. Sterling snapped, "No. Stay." "No," I said at the same time. "Go." My voice was gentle when I said it. That is what made it feel powerful. Waverly looked at me, startled, like she expected me to hate her most. I did not have the energy for that. She was a symptom. He was the disease. Waverly swallowed. "I am sorry," she said, and she meant it. Then she stepped around Sterling and hurried down the hall, heels clicking fast, bag swinging against her leg. She did not look back. Sterling watched her go with a look that made my stomach twist. He looked like someone who had just lost something he believed he deserved. Then he turned on me. "What did you just do?" he hissed. I kept my face neutral. I let her leave. "You humiliated me." I almost laughed, but it would have sounded like sobbing, so I swallowed it. "Humiliated you. In the same hallway where I had to stop my daughter from running into your affair." I did not raise my voice. I did not have to. My calm made him tense, like he could not find a handle to grab. He took a breath and tried a different tactic, softer. "Colette, you are overreacting. It is complicated. We have been distant for a while, you know that." There it was, the blame shift. The rescue rope he always threw himself. I nodded slowly like I was considering it. "We have been busy," I agreed. "We have had stress. We have had kids' schedules, bills, exhaustion." His shoulders loosened a fraction, like he thought I was returning to the old dance. Then I added, "But none of that made you upload your cheating into our family album." His face tightened again. I looked down at his room key card tucked in his hand. The same kind of card I had tried to use. I pointed at it. "You changed the access on our shared digital key," I said. "That is why my card got denied." His eyes widened just a hair, and I knew I was right. He did not deny it. "You planned for me not to have access," I continued, voice steady. "You did not just slip. You prepared." Sterling's mouth opened, and the words came out sharp. "I did not want you barging in." I stared at him for a long beat, letting that sentence echo. He did not want his wife to have access to his room. In a marriage. "Okay," I said quietly. That one word seemed to throw him off more than any scream would have. "Okay," he repeated, confused. "That is it. You are just going to say okay." I nodded again. "Yes." Then I did something he did not expect. I turned away from him. Sterling grabbed my wrist. "Colette, do not walk away from me." My skin crawled under his touch. I did not jerk free. I did not make a scene. I just looked down at his hand on my wrist, then back up at his face. "Let go," I said. He did not. I lowered my voice further. "Sterling, let go. Because if you do not, the next person I talk to is hotel security, and you will have to explain why you are grabbing your wife in a hallway with children nearby." His fingers loosened instantly, like the word security burned. I stepped back and smoothed my sleeve, as if my body was a document and I was fixing a wrinkle. I walked to the end of the hall where Archer was standing with Rue. Rue had a paper cup of water and was sipping it proudly like she had completed the mission. Archer's eyes were locked on Sterling, and there was something in his gaze I had never seen before. Disgust, protective rage, a kind of quiet judgment that felt heavier than any punishment. "Mom," Archer said under his breath, "are we leaving?" "Not yet," I said softly. "We are going to do this the right way." Rue looked up at me, eyes wide. "Can we see Daddy now?" I crouched to her level and brushed her hair back. "We will see him tomorrow, baby. Tonight Daddy has to do grown-up work." She frowned, "But we came for him." I kissed her forehead. "I know. And you did the best surprise. You did nothing wrong." Then I stood and looked at Archer. "I need you to be my calm helper, okay?" He nodded, jaw tight. "Tell me what to do." I took a breath and made the next decision. Silent, clean, documented. We went back to the elevator, and I pressed the button for the lobby. As the doors closed, I saw Sterling start walking toward us, panic in his eyes. "Colette, wait." The doors shut before he could reach us. Rue leaned against my side, trusting. Archer stood close, guarding. In the elevator mirror, I saw my own face. Pale, controlled, eyes too steady for how much I was breaking inside. When we reached the lobby, I walked straight to the front desk. The receptionist looked up and her polite smile faltered when she saw my expression. "Hi," I said calmly. "I need to update the billing details on my husband's stay. And I need a printout of the folio showing all charges and the number of registered guests for his room." Her eyes widened. "I'm not sure I can do that." I smiled gently, like I was asking for extra towels. "I am listed as his spouse and emergency contact on the reservation profile. You can verify my ID, and if you cannot, that is okay. I will request it through corporate travel in the morning. But I want it noted right now in your system that I requested it at this time." The receptionist swallowed, glanced behind her at a manager, then back at me. "One moment, Mom." "Mom, not Mrs. Whitaker, not wife. Just Mom," like she already understood. Archer watched me with something like awe, like he was seeing a side of me he did not know existed. Rue tugged my sleeve. "Mommy, are we in trouble?" I knelt and shook my head. "No, baby. We are just making sure we are safe." A moment later, the manager came over. Middle-aged, professional, kind eyes that had seen too many messy nights. "How can I help you?" he asked softly. I held my phone out and showed him the access denied screen timestamp, then the iCloud photo notification, then my call log with unanswered calls. I did not add drama. I did not have to. I need a separate room, I said, voice steady. A room Sterling cannot access. And I need your staff to not disclose our room number to anyone who asks for it, including my husband. The manager nodded slowly, eyes flicking to Archer and Rue. Of course. I am sorry you are dealing with this. I felt my throat tighten, but I swallowed it down. Thank you. He typed quickly, then handed me a new key card. Room 922. Private elevator access. Only your name on the room. We will flag your profile for privacy. I took the card like it was a life raft. Then suddenly, my phone buzzed again. A text from Sterling. Where are you? Do not do anything stupid. We can talk. I stared at the message for a long moment, and I did not reply, because the first rule of silent revenge is simple. You do not argue with a liar. You let the paperwork speak. I slid the phone into my pocket and focused on my kids. Rue was tired and confused, her bunny drooping in her arms. Archer looked like he was holding his breath, waiting for me to crumble. I forced my voice to stay soft. Come on, I said. We are going to our room. We are going to sleep. Tomorrow we do one thing at a time. In the private elevator, Rue leaned against my hip. Mommy, is Daddy mad at us? No, sweetheart, I whispered, kissing the top of her head. None of this is because of you, not one single piece. Archer watched the numbers climb. When the doors opened on our floor, he stepped out first, scanning the hallway like he was my security guard. The room was quiet, clean, and far away from the place where my marriage cracked open. The moment the door shut behind us, the silence hit like a wave. Rue climbed onto the bed and curled around her bunny. Archer stood near the window, looking out at the city lights, jaw tight. Mom, he said quietly, is he going to come here? I shook my head. No, he cannot access this room, and the hotel will not tell him where we are. Archer nodded, but his shoulders stayed rigid. He looked older than 12, too old. I sat beside Rue and brushed her hair until her breathing slowed. She fell asleep holding my hand like she could keep me from disappearing. When Rue was fully asleep, Archer finally spoke again. Are you going to forgive him? The question was blunt, like a stone thrown straight at my chest. I stared at my sleeping daughter at the tiny crease between her brows and felt something settle inside me. Not rage, not panic, a steady, quiet clarity. I do not know, I said honestly, but I do know this. I will not pretend anymore. Archer swallowed. He was trying to be strong, but he was still a kid. I found him, he said suddenly, voice cracking. I found the picture. My breath caught. What picture? He looked down at his phone. When you showed the manager, I saw your screen. I recognized the shared album. I have it too because of family photos. It sent the notification to me earlier, but I did not open it until the hallway. My stomach twisted. Archer had seen it. My son had seen his father's hand in that photo. Archer lifted his eyes, and there was anger there, sharp and clean. He did not even care that I saw. He wanted me to know. He put us in it, Archer said. He put us in his mess. I reached out and pulled him into a hug. He stiffened for a second, then melted, and I felt his body shake once, just once, like he was letting himself be 12 again for one tiny moment. I held him and whispered, you are not responsible for any of this. You hear me? You are not the adult here. I am. He nodded against my shoulder. That night, Sterling texted again, then called the hotel, then called my phone until it buzzed nonstop. I did not answer. Instead, I opened my notes app and started writing down times. Access denied. The iCloud photo notification, the hallway encounter, the manager's name, the room number, every detail. Because I learned something in the emergency room. When things get messy, you do not rely on memory. You rely on documentation. At 2 a.m, another notification popped up. A bank alert. Our joint card was charged for room service at his hotel. The total was not huge, but the line item mattered. 2 entrees, 2 desserts, a bottle of wine. I stared at it, then quietly took a screenshot. Sterling had not just betrayed me. He had tried to fund it with our life. The next morning, I woke before the kids. My body felt hollow, but my mind was steady. I sat at the little desk by the window and opened my email. There was a calendar invite from Sterling, sent at 3:47 a.m. Subject, talk. Location, hotel lobby. He had set it like a meeting. Like this was a negotiation he could schedule and control. I clicked decline. Then I typed one sentence in the response box. I will communicate through writing. I did not send anything else. No anger, no pleading, just a boundary with a timestamp. Archer woke up first. He came to sit beside me, quiet. I handed him a muffin and told him to keep Rue smiling. He nodded like he understood the assignment. When Rue woke, I braided her hair and told her we were going to see a fun place today. a breakfast spot with pancakes the size of her face. She giggled, and for a moment her laughter felt like oxygen. At 9, I took the kids down to breakfast in the hotel restaurant. I chose a table facing the entrance, not because I wanted a scene, but because I refused to be ambushed. Sterling appeared 10 minutes later. He looked tired, unshaven, eyes red, like he had finally met the consequences of his own choices. He spotted us and started toward our table, then paused when he saw Archer and Rue. Rue bounced in her seat. "Daddy." Sterling smiled too wide, too fast. "Hey, pumpkin." He leaned in to hug her, and she hugged back, because she did not know anything except that she missed her dad. My throat tightened, but I kept my face calm. Sterling reached for Archer next, and Archer shifted back slightly. Not dramatic, just enough. Sterling froze for half a second, then tried to laugh. "Come on, buddy." Archer did not laugh. He just stared at him, and that stare said everything. Sterling swallowed and looked at me. "Colette, can we talk?" "Not here," I said softly. "We have to," he insisted, voice tightening. "You are making this worse." I set my fork down and met his eyes. "You made this. I'm just refusing to carry it for you." He blinked, then leaned closer, voice low. "You are going to destroy our family." That word family, coming from him, almost made me smile. Almost. I kept my voice quiet. "Sterling, our family was not destroyed by my silence. It was destroyed by your secret." Rue looked between us. "Mommy, Daddy, are you mad?" Sterling reached for her hand. "No, honey, we are fine." I did not correct him. Not in front of her. Not today. I stood and smoothed Rue's shirt. "Sweetheart, go with Archer and pick a pastry from the display. One each." "Okay." Rue smiled and hopped down. Archer took her hand and walked toward the counter, posture protective. Sterling watched them go. Then his expression hardened. "You cannot keep them from me," he said. I looked at him steadily. "I am not keeping them from you. I am keeping them safe from confusion. And from lies." His jaw clenched. "That is not fair." I nodded slowly. "You keep using that word. Like it has ever stopped you from doing what you want." He took a breath, then tried a different voice. "The gentle one. The one that used to soften me. Colette, it was a mistake. I was lonely. We have been distant. I did not mean for any of this to happen." I tilted my head, calm. "Did you mean to change the digital key access so your wife could not get into your room?" His eyes widened just slightly, then narrowed. "You do not understand how those systems work." I held my phone up and opened the hotel app. It showed my access revoked, time-stamped. It also showed who revoked it. "Sterling," I said quietly. "It shows your name." His face went pale. That was the first micro crack, and I watched it happen without raising my voice. He swallowed. "I did not want a scene." "You did not want me," I corrected softly. "You wanted control." Archer returned with Rue, both holding pastries. Rue had frosting on her lip. She looked happy. My heart squeezed. This was the part I had to protect. Sterling forced a smile at her. "You ready to go do something fun today?" Rue nodded, bouncing. I said, "Sterling, the kids and I are leaving today." His smile dropped. "What? No, you cannot just take them." I kept my voice even. "I can, and I am." He leaned forward, eyes sharp. "You are doing this to punish me." I finally allowed a tiny, tired smile. "No, I am doing this because you punished us already. Quietly. For months. I am just ending the punishment." He looked like he wanted to argue. But then he remembered he had an audience, and he forced himself calm. "Fine," he said. "We will talk at home." I nodded once. "Yes, through writing." After breakfast, I took the kids back upstairs and packed while they watched cartoons. Then I walked to the front desk. The manager recognized me and came over immediately. "I need the folio," I said. "I need it to show the registered guest count for room 1418 and any additional charges. I am not asking for anyone's name, just the count and the charges." He nodded. "We can provide the guest count and charges." When he handed it to me, I thanked him and slipped it into a folder. As I turned to leave, the receptionist who had checked me in the night before stepped closer, voice very quiet. "Mom," she said, "I just want you to know. The system logs keycard activity too." I paused. She continued, eyes flicking toward the manager. "If you ever needed to verify who entered and when, the hotel can provide it through a formal request." She was trying to help, but the twist in my chest came from realizing she was not just being kind. She was telling me the proof existed already. I nodded calm. "Thank you." I did not ask for it right then. I did not need to, not yet. We checked out at noon. Sterling stood in the lobby, waiting, watching us like he could force me back into the old version of my life just by looking hard enough. Rue ran to him for a hug, and he hugged her tight. Archer stayed beside me. Sterling looked at Archer. "Buddy, please, talk to me." Archer's voice was steady. and that steadiness made my throat burn. "Stop calling Mom dramatic," Archer said. "You did this. You do not get to be mad that she found out." Sterling flinched like the truth physically hurt him. I put a hand on Archer's shoulder, not to silence him, but to ground him. Sterling looked at me again, eyes pleading now softer. "Colette, please, therapy, anything. We can fix this." I looked at him and felt the grief rise, not for the man in front of me, but for the man I thought he was. For the years I spent trusting a version of him that did not exist. I spoke quietly. "Sterling, you did not just cheat. You built a system to hide it. You removed my access. You lied to our children by disappearing. You used our money for your secret. You do not fix that with one apology." His lips parted, but no words came. I took Rue's hand and Archer's, and we walked out. On the flight home, Sterling sent one last message. "I will fight you for the kids." I stared at it for a long moment. Then I opened my phone and forwarded the hotel folio screenshot, the bank alert screenshot, and the iCloud notification screenshot into one email addressed to my personal account. Subject line: Boston documentation. Then I replied to Sterling with 2 words: "Noted, thanks." 3 weeks later, we sat in a quiet office with a mediator and 2 attorneys. Sterling looked confident at first, like he thought charm would carry him. He said I was overreacting. He said it was one mistake. He said he was a great father and deserved equal custody. I did not argue. I did not accuse. I just slid a folder across the table. Inside were timestamps, charges, the shared album notification, and a printed copy of his calendar invite he sent at 3:47 a.m. like this was a business appointment. The mediator's eyes moved slowly over the pages, then lifted to Sterling. "Mr. Whitaker," she said gently, "this is not one mistake. This is a pattern with planning." Sterling's face drained of color. He tried to speak, but his attorney touched his arm, stopping him. In the end, we agreed on a custody schedule that protected the kids from chaos, and a financial settlement that forced Sterling to pay back every cent he used on his secret life. I did not celebrate. I just breathed again. Months later, Rue started sleeping through the night without waking up calling for her dad. Archer started smiling again, small and careful, like trust was a muscle he was rebuilding. I took extra shifts, saved money, and moved us into a smaller place that felt peaceful. One evening, Archer found me in the kitchen, washing dishes. "Mom," he said, "you know what I remember most about Boston?" I looked at him. "What?" He shrugged, almost shy. "You did not scream. You did not beg. You just handled it, like you were teaching us how to survive." My throat tightened. I wiped my hands and pulled him into a hug. "I did not survive," I whispered. "I chose us. And the truth is, the best revenge was not making Sterling suffer. It was watching my kids learn that love does not require them to accept lies."